Hey, it's Lee. Welcome back to Grain Free Insights. If you're new to eating grain free or if you're just testing the waters, you're not alone. Tons of people are giving up grains these days, and for all sorts of reasons. Some people feel just generally better without eating grains. They feel they have less bloating, more energy, clearer skin, better sleep. By the way, I have a video on how eating grain free can, for very many people, help you sleep better. So you might want to check that out. Others are managing things like gluten sensitivity or autoimmune conditions, and some folks are just curious about eating a little cleaner. Whatever your reason, you deserve food that's easy to make, satisfying to eat, and full of flavor. I always say food needs to be fun. Deprivation isn't cool if you feel like you're giving stuff up and you just walk around the house moping because you can't have that full fledged pizza that you want. Well, you know what? Find an alternative that works. Let's talk a little bit about making food fun. You want to enjoy every bite that you put in your mouth. You want to wake up every day thinking, oh boy, I get to eat today and absolutely love what I'm doing. Now, when you originally go grain free, sometimes it can take a little while to readjust, but just because you're going grain free doesn't mean you have to give up enjoyment. Stick with it, the enjoyment will come. So many people start changing their food habits with one thought in mind: what do I have to cut out? And before long, meals start feeling like a list of rules instead of something you actually look forward to, right? But food isn't supposed to feel like punishment. It's supposed to feel like comfort, like connection, like joy. Going grain free doesn't mean you stop loving food. It means you're making choices that support how you want to feel. And that can be empowering. And even with all that motivation, if you don't enjoy what you're eating, it's going to feel like a battle. That's why mindset matters. If you're walking into every meal thinking, oh, I miss bread, you're feeding the frustration. But when you shift your focus on what your body is gaining, clarity, comfort, energy, you start to build a whole new kind of relationship with food, one that isn't based on guilt or scarcity, one that says, I'm worth this. Pleasure is not the enemy of health. Let me say that again. Pleasure is not the enemy of health. You care about nutrition and still smile when you take a bite. You can listen to your body and laugh with friends over a good meal. You're allowed to feel satisfied. And when your choices are rooted in self respect instead of restriction, food becomes something to celebrate again. So, if you've been struggling or feeling a little down about your grain free lifestyle, maybe take a breath and ask yourself, am I enjoying this? And if the answer is no, then ask yourself, what small shift can I make today to feel more nourished, more satisfied, more you? Because this isn't about being perfect, it's about feeling good, and you deserve that. And that is the slant that I try to put on almost every video I make here. Food needs to be fun. Some of the recipes that I share with you, you might adore, some you may not, but you're going to find some that will help change your lifestyle and bring a smile. Now, we're not talking pizza today. There's tons of recipes for cauliflower pizza and grain-free pizza on the internet. And once I have perfected my favorite, I will be sure to add a video. But for now, I've got three surprising grain free recipes that are perfect for beginners and non beginners. And I'll walk you through each one step by step. Like I said, we're skipping the usual suspects like grain free pizza, zoodles, which are noodles made from zucchini, as you probably know, almond flour muffins, that sort of thing. Today's recipes are a little different, a little unexpected, and a whole lot of delicious. Let's start with plantain pancakes. These are soft, warm, and feel like comfort food without a grain in sight. All you need are two ripe plantains. You want to look for ones that are yellow with black spots. That's when they're sweet and soft enough for this recipe. Peel and slice them into chunks, then toss them in a blender with two large eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt. Blend it all until smooth and creamy. Then you want to heat a nonstick skillet with a little oil over medium heat. Pour in about a quarter cup of batter for each pancake. You want to let them cook for 2 to 3 minutes per side until they're golden and crispy on the outside. That's it. Breakfast is handled. These are also good as a dessert. Maybe put a little bit of fruit on top and some, if you can have it, whipped cream. Delicious. You might be wondering if you can substitute bananas for the plantains. The answer is yes, as long as you use very ripe bananas. Your bananas should have a lot of brown spots and be super soft. I've even used bananas that have turned almost totally black. The sweeter and the riper the banana, the better it works. Now, the pancakes will have a softer, more custard-like texture if you use bananas instead of plantains. So I recommend stirring in a tablespoon of almond flour or coconut flour after blending to help the pancakes hold together better. Just make one pancake, and if it is exactly the texture that you want, great, you're good to go. If not, keep adding a little bit more almond flour or coconut flour and then testing it with a small pancake until you get it just right. Write down what works best for you. This is like banana bread meets pancake. It's still grain free, still easy, and super tasty. Now, let's talk about sweet potato flatbread. This one surprises people. You bake it once, and suddenly you're wrapping everything in it: breakfast, lunch, snacks, and leftovers. To start, cook a large sweet potato until it's soft. You can microwave it for 5 to 7 minutes or bake it at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 40 minutes. Once it's soft, scoop out the flesh and mash it in a mixing bowl. Add 1 cup of almond flour, 1 large egg, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a half teaspoon of salt. Then you mix everything together until you get a soft dough. You want to press it into small rounds about a half an inch thick on parchment lined baking sheet. Then you want to bake them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes or until they're golden and hold their shape. These are great warm and even better the next day toasted with toppings. And finally, let's wrap it up with a breakfast favorite. This is for chia seed oatmeal. Now, if you're like me, you can't eat oatmeal. I am very, very strictly gluten free, and I have a very low tolerance for gluten. A fraction of a crumb sets me off into having a reaction for about a week. And a lot of times, oatmeal does it for me too. So you might want to give this a try if you're the same. This is a cold, creamy alternative to traditional oats, and it's ready when you are. In a jar or bowl, mix a quarter cup chia seed with 1 cup coconut milk or almond milk. Add 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon and a teaspoon of honey or maple syrup if you want it sweet. Stir it well, cover it, and let it sit overnight in the refrigerator. By morning, the chia seeds will have soaked up all the liquid and turned into a thick, spoonable pudding. Add your favorite fruit, a handful of nuts, or a swirl of nut butter on top. You can eat it cold straight from the fridge or warm it up if you like. Either way, it's a cozy, grain free way to start your day. So there you go. 3 beginner friendly recipes that are totally grain free and full of surprises. Whether you're easing into a grain free lifestyle or ready to ditch grains for good, these recipes make it fun and doable. If you like this video, I've got more coming your way, so check out the rest of the channel for even more grain-free tips, recipes, and kitchen hacks. And if you try one of these recipes, I hope you'll let me know. I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you for being here. Again, I'm Lee, and I'll see you again soon. and a half teaspoon of salt.